Hi all, welcome to day 17. Mushrooms. I'm gonna say messy mushroom. I'm very excited to take you all through this class. So for this class, I actually highly recommend you guys to watch it once because there were some runtime mistakes that I did while doing the class, and I have not. I actually rectified all those mistakes while working on this particular class project, right? So I don't want you to repeat that mistake, so maybe just go through it once, see it, and then come back and work along with me. Okay, so let's see, we can get started now. Okay, so just let's start with sketching the mushroom first. And if you are not comfortable with the direct sketch, right, so then I'll just go tell you to that take any make a circle, right, and then trace the mushroom's shape in it, so that way it becomes a little bit easier. So we're gonna do a circle, then and then shape up the mushroom, and then do the stem of the mushroom. I think that minimalistic and rough sketch is what we needed at this stage. Okay. Okay, so once the sketch is done, let's start by wetting the paper. So we wet the whole paper, just leaving the mushroom out. So we don't want to wet the mushroom because I think we'll start with background first and then we'll start doing the mushroom. Okay. Okay, so let's start by adding some background colors. So for this particular background, we will be using lemon yellow. Okay, we'll take that as a base and then we'll start putting another colors on same. So we're gonna cover the whole page with this color. Okay, so we're gonna do this gomboge yellow lemon yellow combination on the whole paper, and on top of it we'll start adding some greens. Okay, so as I'm saying, we'll add some greens, and I'm trying to create some bokeh effects in this one, but we'll see if it is not looking good, then we'll just figure out another way of creating same, right? So we'll just try something, but remember that it's a messy background, and all this will be still in the background. Okay, we'll see. So I think my paper is very wet and it's not actually working out. So maybe I'll just scrub, scrub it off and then do something else. I'm just thinking out another technique on how to do this. But let's see. Okay. So yeah, I think it's just too wet for me to create that effect now. So what we'll do, we'll use a paper towel tissue method for creating those effects. Okay, and then for this particular painting, we want to make sure that the bottom part where the mushroom is, right, the root of the mushroom, the root part of that is gonna be very darker in color, right? So if you have a dark green, then a pearlian green, then you can use it, or else mix your indigo or your paints gray in your sap green so that it turns out a little darker. Okay, or you can also mix your Persian blue as well. It also gives a very dark impact to your green. So you can mix your Persian blue in a small quantity with your sap green so that it turns out very darkish green color. Or also you can try to mix your Persian blue indigo uh, or yeah with light or lemon yellow. That also will give you dark green color. Okay, so remember the primary and secondary color mixes. I'll think about creating a class on same, but I think there are a lot of materials available on social media these days for basics about watercolor, right? But yeah, we'll try to cover that in one of the class. Let's see. Okay, see how it is looking beautiful. So now that upper part is light in color, the bottom part is darker in shade, right? It just gives a very good background impact. So we're gonna do so basically we'll do some bouquet, then covered with the grass and tree foliage, so some light peeping out of it, right? So that's what we're gonna do. So this is one way of creating the bouquet as I am doing. So basically you dip your brush in water, tap in paper towel or cloth, and then do in a circular motion to create some light effect. Okay, so if you are comfortable doing this way, then I recommend you that you go ahead and then create bouquets in this manner. If you're not comfortable in doing this way, then you can also use your hand, like your finger basically, right? Dip it in color and then create circles on the paper, and also you can use your tissue paper to create that impact. Okay, so there are a couple of ways. It's just easy hacks on how to do things. So lot of easy hacks right? Okay, and I'm using size 4 over here for doing all this. This is my gomboz yellow. Okay, so I'm gonna make the bottom part more dark now, because so it's not completely wet as it was earlier. It's like a little dry, and it's not completely dry also, so would be a good stage at this point where we can add more colors, right? So to make your greens more darker, you can increase the quantity of your paints gray or indigo, whatever you are adding to mix your greens. And if you have a dark green color, then pick up a pigmented quantity with less amount of water in it, so that your color is darker. So remember that you don't do the same color on top of the page. So we want to keep the bottom of the paper dark, and then we still want to maintain the upper part as light. Okay. So I did not like the bouquet that I created. So I just mixed it, blended it with everything. Here I have not edited any of my mistakes while I was recording, right? So you can see me how I am correcting the mistakes as well. Okay. So if your paper is still wet, you can do lot of things. You can by easily correct your mistakes. It's the most easiest option, right? So now I thought kid using bouquet with either you have a tissue paper that good, or if you have a cloth, that also is fine. It would be more easier to create effect in this way. So I was just trying to, not exactly bouquet, but I'm trying to create some background effect, right? And with the brush it was just not happening. Okay, so then you can vary the size of that background circle that we're making, right? So you can vary them, so you can be big somewhere, it can be small at places, right? So you can decide on the impact. Okay, and then I just picked up some green because and then put it on the paper. Okay, now I think this like too much white because we lifted some colors with the help of our cloth, or if you had tissue, then you could use the tissue also. Now I thought that it would be more easy if I use just my fingers to do the circle, right? It's more easy that when I can give a very good effect to that particular background. So this another way that you will see in this one. See, you will not have seen anyone using their hands to get their hands dirty and play with water. Okay, so as of now, because there was too much white space and I wanted to fill that white space, so I am using my sap green with this one. And now I think we'll do some yellows also because it's looking too green and too white. So we'll just cover some parts with the yellow. Now remember that they will not be actually showing directly because we're gonna paint some branches, leaf around it. So it's kind of hidden, right? So underneath. So what we are painting is just the background which is underneath the painting. Okay. So I'm using a combination of Maples Yellow with Gomboj to paint this one. Okay, so this is a very fun exercise, so keep doing this. Um, yeah, just have fun. So sometimes it's good to use hands and fingers rather than using brush. Okay, so once you're satisfied with putting everything and where you're not feeling it's correct, you just basically change them. And now we're gonna put some grasses onto the background. We'll add some grasses at the bottom, and I think we're gonna put some branches on the top also. Okay. Okay, so we did some grasses onto the bottom of the page, and now let's do some art, the upper part. Okay, so we covered. So I just felt like wherever I felt like I just went ahead and added some. So don't consider them as grasses. You can actually consider them as foliage, right? Some foliage. So basically, tree leaves falling out of some trees or leaves of some trees, basically. Okay, so see how that effect, the watercolor effect, that bokeh kind of effect that we created, how it's in the background now, right? And it's looking so beautiful, right? It is looking very, very nice. So that whole impact has gone on the background. Now we are gonna paint some random strokes here and there to give that effect of fallen foliage, autumn foliage that's lying here and there, right? That broken pieces of the leaves that are fallen on the ground from the tree. So that we are gonna give. So we just paint around them in the very random strokes. Okay, so you can use yellow, orange, maybe some red at times to create that effect. Okay, so do your mixes basically, right? So you can take some Naples yellow, some orange, some gamboj, maybe some red, some dark green. So just play with the colors and then pick any amount of color. So autumn colors basically. So you want to give that impact of that this is autumn trees, sorry, autumn leaves that are fallen on the ground and are visible, right? So just that you are trying to do. So this is all about having fun, right? So maybe do some splatters, create some tree branches with that color, um, anything, right? So anything. So we're just trying to have a very messy, fun, creative background for this one. So imagine that mushroom at a very corner place of your jungle where there are a lot of grasses, a lot of lights peeping through, right? So that kind of a place basically, and then you'll be able to, once you start imagining as in how this is coming or what actually it is depicting, it becomes more interesting, and then you will start putting the right amount of colors and variations to that particular painting, right? So now you'll ask me, then why did we even do that bouquet? Because ultimately we covered it with some tree foliage, right? So see how so just giving that impact to your painting, right? It's the next level. So there is lot in watercolor. So your background makes a huge difference of how. So you do a single layer background and then do your main subject on top of it, and then you do a layered background and paint your main subject. It creates a huge difference. You can try that by yourself by simply painting that yellow and then do your mushroom, and then try this one. It's gonna be huge. Okay, so it does make a difference, believe me. So now I'm trying to paint the mushroom. Okay, so as we have done in the other class, one of the other class also where we painted mushroom, so we're gonna paint the mushroom in one whole color. So I'm using scarlet red for painting that, and then we're gonna do the shadow part at one side of the mushroom. Okay, so we're gonna exactly follow the same technique. Okay, so one side of the mushroom needs to be lighter in color, and the other would be darker because the light is coming from the other way. Okay, so that we want to remember. So remember your lights and shadows, and then play around it. Okay. And while you're painting that this mushroom, if you think that the image is little bit distorted, you can correct it while you're doing watercolors. Okay, so we're gonna add some shadows to the mushroom area now. So I'm adding shadows on the left side of the mushroom because for me the light is coming from the right side, and that is why if you see also, right, the bottom part is a bit darker and there's a light which is actually visible from the top. Okay, now let's blend that. So it just will not look with hard edge. So let's soften it and then blend it. So you already know now how to soften it. So you take clean water in your brush and then swipe across that layer of how you painted it, right? So that's what we want to do. So if your colors is going too darker and you want to add something, I recommend you to add some lemons to change that single color. So it will not be anyway single color, but it's red, it's gonna have some variations around it. Okay, so blend very nicely. Okay, so now I think we'll do the root part of the sorry, the stem part of the mushroom. Yeah, so I think the top of the mushroom is done. We should be good with the stem part. So we're gonna take some burnt sienna mixed with yellow ochre and then we'll do that stem. Okay, so we'll start with the corner left side of the mushroom and we paint it very lightly, right? If you can see, my color is very light and it's not even diluted, right? It's just very light pigment and it's not diluted at all. It's directly the pigment. Okay, and let's start by adding some shadow areas also. Okay, so just do a clean wash of water and then just swipe through your mushroom stem. Yeah, so it's like blended across. So we don't want to do it. So we do that with the dry brushing technique. Also, you can use where we just pull the paint that we have put on the stem down, right? We just try to blend it. So I'm not using any water over here. I'm just trying to just do a dry brushing. Go over that same area multiple times and just do a dry brushing over there, right? And then maybe make some grasses around it. That's it. And so, so I think now it's just done, and the detailing on the mushroom is left. And I think we'll go ahead and add some whites on the mushroom and at the bottom also because it's just looking too green. Yeah, and the mushroom area, there would be mud around that, right? So it has to be a little bit darker. So we just have to ensure that we are making it dark. Okay, so we're gonna add some white around the mushroom now, and then we also have to do the whites on the top of the mushroom. But then, guys, I made a mistake. So I did not notice that my mushroom was still wet, and I just went ahead with it, and my color all got dispersed, right? So I just don't want it to repeat same, and then maybe wait and check if your mushroom is wet or dry. Once a mushroom is completely dry, then only go ahead and add the details on top of the mushroom. Okay, so I had to do it twice because my color got dispersed. So yeah, I had to do it one and then wait for it to be completely dry for bring out the details on the mushroom, right? So before you start adding anything onto your mushroom, just make sure that it's like little bit dry, not too dry and not too wet. Okay, and the color that I'm using for adding the detail is Naples yellow, and you can, if you don't have the Naples yellow, you can also try to mix your gomboge with your white wash basically, right? So you can also achieve that consistency by mixing the both colors. Okay, and then do a shadow around all those spots that we have added. I think that would be it. Okay. Okay, so as I said, I had to wait for it to be completely dry to do the final detailing, and I actually waited for it to be completely dry. Then I just went over the spots that I added um, to complete all the detailings on top of it. Yeah. So thank you guys for joining me in this class. I hope you had some fun and you learned something new and different. This was something very different in the approach where we actually did a background and then we hit the background with something else, right? So very different take on how we can approach a different one subject, like same subject in a different way, right? So I hope you had fun, and I am very excited to see your class projects in the project section. See you in the next one. Bye bye.